Hello, everyone. Luke here. I'm going to present on the Trans-Pacific Partnership for the Global Political Issues series that we have. I'll be doing the first half of the presentation for Jake and I. And so the Trans-Pacific Partnership, TPP. What is the TPP? The TPP was a proposed trade these countries, Australia, Brunei, Canada, let me have this. Chile, Japan, Malaysia, Mexico, New Zealand, Peru, Singapore, Vietnam, and the United States, totaling 12 in all. It was drafted on the 5th of October, 2015, and it was signed the 4th of February, 2016. So here's just kind of like a visual map of all of the countries involved. As you can see, they cover the Pacific Ocean in its entirety, mostly. And again, the US is in the brown only because it pulled out right before they could ratify it. So just kind of an overview of the contents. Essentially what the agreement would have done was cut over 18,000 trade tariffs, most of those coming into effect immediately. The signatories to the agreement would have been required to join the United Nations Covenant Against Corruption to promote good governance and to fight corruption primarily. They were saying that it was environmentally progressive. The agreement, obviously, there were mixed reviews, but most people were in favor. I put the question mark because it never went into effect, and so we don't know. But essentially, it would have prohibited overfishing. It was looking to protect endangered species and just be more of an environmentally progressive deal. As well, another thing is that it prohibited the exploitation of child labor in the agreement itself, and it also gave authorship for those employees in terms of collective bargaining, in which employees and employers could negotiate livable wages and reasonable wages. In terms of the origins of the TPP, in 2005, the Pacific nations, Brunei included, for example, began talks with other Pacific countries in the region, and then Supreme Leader Bush came into those talks. And so in 2009, when Obama took office, he continued the U.S. interest in the deal. And for example, in 2011, Hillary claimed that the TPP was a centerpiece for the Asian Pacific regional relations. Although in 2016, she would oppose the deal as she was running against Trump. And in 2015, the nations reached an agreement, and it was signed a year later. So in terms of the political hurdles that were overcame in domestic regions, Japan promised to reduce barriers on its auto market. Canada allowed more foreign access to its dairy market. Brunei, Malaysia, and Vietnam all vowed to increase labor laws and protect workers. And the US compromised on stricter patent protection for pharmaceuticals. So some of the opposers to the TPP were saying that the agreement would result in lower wages in the United States, and it would increase inequality as more work was going abroad. They were saying that the secrecy behind the deal was not democratic at all, and that it was only looking for the top investors and their needs. They were saying that supporting foreign competition would thus decrease U.S. manufacturing jobs, and they would all be exported abroad, and that there was this thing called the Investor State Dispute Settlement, the ISDS, and essentially it would allow corporations and companies to sue governments that violated the trade agreement. And again, that hasn't happened yet, so a lot of people were skeptical of that. And in terms of the supporters of the TPP, they said that if it went into effect, the TPP would have expanded U.S. foreign investment, which is true. It would have increased trade. It would have lowered consumer prices. It would have increased economic growth in general. It would have created new jobs. It would have advanced U.S. strategic interest in the Asia-Pacific region, and essentially it would have just benefited globalization as a whole.